Yes.
Action.
All right. All right. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Two Tickets to Hell. I'm Ivan Gomez, here with my co host.
Christian Mijangos.
In today's podcast, we'll be talking about the cult classic from 1983, Sleepaway Camp. The good, the mostly bad, the very ugly, and anything in between. Before we begin, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon if you really like it, and enjoy reviews and discuss anything and everything in between, entertainment and so forth. Also, leave a thumbs up is always appreciated. Thank you very much. If you have any thoughts or anything you want us to discuss on this podcast, please leave us a comment as well. Unless it's a mean comment, then go fuck yourself. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this cult classic, Sleep Away Camp.
Sleepaway Camp.
So, if you've never heard of this movie,
Mm-hmm.
let me just give you a little bit of background. It's 1983, all right?
Mm-hmm.
After a horrible boating accident kills her family, Shy, Sol, and Angela. This is from IMDb, by the way. I don't write this well.
I didn't
Angela
do this.
moves in with moves in with her eccentric aunt Martha and protective cousin Ricky
Oh my god! Don't
one
even get me
summer.
started with the Aunt Martha.
I'm telling you, y'all gotta see this movie because it's a banger. One summer, Martha sends the kids to Camp Arawak. Soon after their arrival, bizarre, increasingly violent accidents claim the lives of various campers, a la Friday the 13th. Not gonna spoil it. Who is the twisted individual behind these murders? The disclosure of the murderer's identity is one of the most shocking climaxes in the history of American cinema, according to Drew on IMDb. So
Nothing's
y'all
more
gotta watch
shocking
this.
since Passion of the Christ came out.
I promise you, I'm not gonna say it, but Chris said he saw this movie coming from a mile away. I did not see this coming from 1,000 miles away. In my wildest dreams, my fever
uh,
dreams, I would have never guessed the ending to this movie.
so I didn't guess the
But
twist, but I did see where they were going.
you saw
So
where they're going?
we're gonna spoil the crap
I
out
don't
of this.
know.
So if nobody has
All
seen
right,
it, don't even matter. Well, you
all
could.
right. Before we spoil it, y'all gotta see this movie. I think it's on YouTube for free. Y'all gotta see this movie. I
Mhm.
promise you, you're gonna be very
You're
whelmed.
gonna watch this,
It's a
and
good movie.
the one thought that's not gonna go through your head is, why am I wasting my time?
No, no, no way. Trust
No,
me.
of course
You know
not.
what you're gonna say? You're gonna say exactly what me and Doria said. We said
Why are we watching
we got.
this?
Well, why are we watching this? And when can we see the second one?
And
Because
do
there
we have
wasn't just
another drink?
there wasn't just one, two, three movies. There's like five or six movies out.
Hmm.
Apparently, the second and third one were made at the same exact time. I don't know how you can do that, but they were because these are the same exact sets. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but the last movie that came out this year, it's 1983, mind you,
Mm.
first movie came out. It came out like relatively close to this year, but they've used film from the original, like not original movie, but they were filming it back then. They ran out of budget and they said we're not going to make this movie anymore, so they brought it back from like a fan edit to make this movie again. I don't know.
Yeah,
Long story short, it's a movie that you should definitely see. That way you can tell your friends that you watch Sleepaway Camp because
yeah.
it's I guarantee you probably never seen another movie like it, even though it's
It's like The Room. It's one of those movies you have to watch it just to say you did.
yeah, you should watch all of them. So that's why I'm
Hmm.
trying to convince Christy to watch all the movies.
Yeah,
But
yeah. We
anyway,
will. We'll get
let's
through
jump
them one
right
by
into
two.
this. We'll
So,
watch right into the spoilers.
so the
So spoiler
so
alert.
yeah. Let's just start it off. So so how the movie starts off, and I don't think they're even at the camp, right? They're at a lake. Obviously, it's filmed at the camp. They filmed the entire movie in the same location, an actual like a camp.
They
Because
were
those,
off season at some camp.
yeah, which is interesting that people let them do that, like film like Camp Crystal Lake at an actual active camp. You'd think people wouldn't want that because it'd be bad publicity, or they don't want this camp to seem like it's a horror. Whatever. That's more like thinking too far about behind the scenes stuff. But yeah. So there's a father and his two kids, a young daughter and a son, and they're all three on a sailboat, and they're looking at the summer camp from across the, oh, actually, yeah, they were at the summer camp because they were looking at it across the lake, and they're like, oh, dad, can we go to summer camp? He's like, maybe next year or something. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they're like kind of complaining about the sailboat. And then cut to like there's a couple, like what you can see right now. There's a couple like on a boat with their friend skiing, and then they lose control. Or no, the girl wants to steer the boat, and the boy's like, okay, you can steer. And then she's having fun hauling it, and then nobody's paying attention to where it's going, and then it ends up,
Somehow.
yeah. And then cut two again, the 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 dad is on the sailboat standing, and his two kids are on the sailboat standing, and then they're like, the kids walk up to the dad and they're like, he, they tickle him or something. He's like, "Wow, you silly
Yeah,
kids!" And then he grabs the
I
sail
can't
and
stop
pulls the
laughing.
entire sailboat over. Like they're all standing there, just like tips the sailboat like, "Oh, gee willikers, look at this, ain't a canoe, boy. Like you just tipped the whole sailboat over. That ain't easy." Like 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 I don't even know where to go from there. Like okay, like he was so casual about it. Like, oh geez, I would have been pissed. I'd have been like, you motherfucker.
And
Like,
mind you, this guy is like he's a little too. His short's a little too short.
yeah,
Like to be hanging out with
yeah,
his two
with
kids.
his
Like
two
it's a little
kids,
weird. The whole like
like
we
all up in
really
their
gotta
faces.
emphasize
Yeah,
this whole movie is very like I think the real horror was just like watching the movie
yeah.
because like you're really uncomfortable the whole time. You're just like I don't know if y'all
There's a lot
like,
of,
we should
well,
be
even
watching
like
this.
that bodybuilder, camp counselor, like was with the funny short shorts. But that's just the time. But it's funny, like, yeah, these
I
kids are
guess it's
just
the
in the ski
time.
boat, and then the dad, yeah, seeing it right there with the tipped over boat. So like she's driving it, and there's a reason I'm breaking down the scene, just the idea of like where this movie was going. At first I was like, at first when I was watching it, I was like, it was serious, but then it was like, okay, maybe this is satire, like joking on like all these slasher movies. Like, so it'll be like this serious satire slash, like, it'll find a middle ground where it's a comfortable comedy. But to watch this, like, you start to realize like, no, this is serious. They're serious about this. Like,
Oh, yeah,
and
no
that,
way. This is a ripoff. Well, I don't want to say ripoff. It was heavily inspired by Friday the 13th.
yeah. Well,
So like they were.
yeah, like you can tell like where it got inspiration, but at the same time, like the director said that he wrote this like when he was a kid going to camp himself. So like he had the idea
Mhm.
of like how this would be creepy. So then like the idea of like who would be the killer, like, and then Jason kind of like one of the kids that were bullied and stuff like that is the killer, like, comes up. But yeah, like the scene where like the skier like fell into the water, and she's like, how could you, they got the kids. Like the acting is just so outlandish, so cringy, that it's like beyond me. Because then like when it cuts to the the girl, and this is obviously a spoiler or a twist spoiler, but I'm not going to spoil it yet. But the girl
We'll get to that
and
because there's a lot
her
to
cousin, right?
digest.
Yeah,
It's like cousin, yeah.
basically the boat, the three were like on the capsized boat, and then the skiers in the other boat, like their boat went full send right into the dad and another kid, and
The
then just
kids, yeah.
smashed him, and then went over it, and then you just see this like quick cut, and then what was it, the other guy on the shore goes, Jeff. That weird whisper, what was
He
that?
just goes like, "My God!" It's
No,
just so out of
he just
place.
straight up said like,
Cut. Like
Jeff. It was like they were. We should just pull up that scene right
we should
now.
just play it. Play it. If we get a copyright strike for this movie, I'll be shocked because y'all gotta see this movie.
It'd be
It's a
crazy if
great
we
movie.
do. I'll see if I can find it. But like, what were your thoughts as soon as like that all happened?
Oh, I rubbed my hands together like a fly and said, "Oh, we in this.
Oh, this is gonna be
We
good.
in this movie now.
You're like,
This
no, we're gonna
movie's
do
about
this
to
instead of the Jungle Cruise.
be." No, I thought, you know what? Like, this movie can't get any worse.
And then it did.
Yeah, they got better every single
Mm-hmm.
step of the way. Like it. I don't know. Like I expected some like. I mean, the movie was made on like a shoestring budget, which
300.
like
Well,
I'll admit, like
so it was like I think it was like $20,000 at first to like rent and pay for a lot of stuff. But what got them through it is like the director producer's like mother died. That's why. Oh yeah, the director's mother died. That's why he dedicated it at the beginning to
oh,
her.
that's right. It's
So
actually
he
very
ended
sad.
up getting like over $300,000 dollars to make it. That's where, like, I think it says it right here. Where is it? It says at the beginning.
The
Why
very
am I
beginning.
wasting
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
This other part like really bothered me is this whole like you can hear the audio of like the people playing like oh blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, why
It
don't you
was a
just show this?
very,
Why are you doing this?
very period movie.
It could
Like
have
I
just been
mean,
quiet. I think it would have been
like
better
if y'all
explained.
remember the Goosebumps, like the beginning of the Goosebumps, not like with the song, but like it felt like very Goosebump like.
Yeah.
With like, like, oh, Timmy, we're gonna find out about this after school special. Like that's what it is,
Yep.
and it just got better from there.
Oh,
Like the
there's the
whole. I mean, look at
kids.
this.
At the get full yeet. Oh no! Stop! Then he goes full send.
Full send. Fuck it. You're
Yikes!
gonna jump him.
That
That's
part.
the scene right there.
Yeah, that part.
Pull it on volume. I want to.
John. That
That's what he
whisper
says.
was
He goes,
just so.
John,
Let me
and they look back like the intro to Full House. So, just a random way to start a movie.
John. And I've been like, John, let me get out there and help. Like there's like a good like 5 minutes where like they're on the capsized boat, just
Which
like giggling.
it makes
and
you
stuff like
question.
that. Yeah.
Because he was more invested in them kids. I mean, him than them kids.
Well, like the dad didn't even help the kids get out of the water. Like, oh, we gotta swim back
Nah,
to
that's
shore.
chilling.
Homeboy had
He
no
was-
plan for this. He was just chilling. Look at this kid sneak up. It's like, what you doing? Stop it! No.
The world's worst sailboat, ladies and gentlemen. It's already sunk.
They just tapped him. Did he not notice the kids on the boat? Did he not notice his own kids?
What?
And then
But that's the beginning of the
that's
movie.
the
That's the
movie.
tempo. That's the tempo.
Yeah.
Anyway, they go to camp,
Mm.
right? And then like it goes way out of left field because I don't know about you, but I felt like every person that died kind of deserved it. Like I don't know.
Well,
They were like
there
I
was
was
like
really
a couple
difficult.
breakdowns. It was pretty interesting because like one of the reviews I watched was transgender explaining their view on it, because obviously now the movie's coming, it was a failure, then it became a cult classic, then it got several remakes. But I mean, looking back, it's they didn't use the transgender part, like the twist at the end, as the main point, but they did use it as a shocking aspect. So now it becomes a point of like, well, isn't that kind of like inappropriate? Because it'd be the same as
Spoiler
like
alert.
if like, yeah,
If we haven't said
I
it.
mean, we might as well
The main
break it down.
twist.
So like, fast
We might
forward-
as well say.
yeah.
So
like,
the whole point,
long
like,
story short,
long story short, like for some reason, I don't know. The message I got was like, okay, so the girl that's surviving, let's just call it that, surviving the summer
yeah,
camp.
Angela. Like, because you assume you follow like Angela, her experience in summer camp as she goes there with her cousin or whatever, and then you find out that or she's there with her cousin, but she's comatose the entire time, antisocial, like just sitting there staring at everybody like blankly, and then
Because she's
like, why is she
traumatized,
weird? Why is
which
she
made
weird?
sense.
Yeah, and then she'll talk to a couple people, but they bully her, and then eventually like people that have been bullying her get murdered. And then later on, you start to think, oh, it's probably like her cousin that's like, protecting her.
But I will say, I did not see it coming, even before the whole left field point.
Yeah.
We haven't got to that yet. I didn't see it coming because it I don't know, they shot it really strangely because like it would be like an asshole like saying something to this person, but they were kind of an asshole to everybody. So they were getting killed. So it felt like, like Friday the 13th, where like, I don't know, there's unwritten rules in horror movies where if you have sex or you're like a pothead or you're an asshole, you get killed off.
Yeah.
It made it seem like that, like oh, we're watching like the behind the scenes of like a story going through its motions of like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like it at no point did I feel like, oh, it was clearly Angela getting revenge or Ricky getting revenge. It just felt like they're just two characters doing their summer camp experience, and then these people just randomly get killed.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole movie. Like, it's very strange.
Yeah, like, so they were getting killed. So then, like, at first I was like, oh, maybe John survived, but he's all mutilated and he's like hiding in the camp, and he saw his daughters in the camp, or the little brother somehow survived, and it's like Jason or Michael Myers type thing. But then because I didn't even think it was what, Rusty the cousin at all.
Ricky.
Like, but it's funny because there's stuff about like technically he did do it, which is like it's a fan theory too, that they were both doing it. And I don't know if you read that, but I'll explain
I didn't
that
read
part.
that.
But
You gotta explain that.
I
That's
will. But like
ridiculous.
we're still trying to do this long story short, because like the main thing is like how she's getting bullied by all these people, and then eventually she like opens up, and then these people end up dying, and then the one boyfriend she makes, like they're basically looking for her and the cousin, and then they find the cousin. He got beat up by like the owner of the camp, because the owner of the camp was suspecting him, the cousin, killing everybody to protect
There's
the
so much to
Angela.
unpack because,
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure we're not explaining
exactly
this
as
right.
you
I'm
said,
sure it's hard to follow like
exactly
what the hell we're
as you
trying to say, but the main point is like Angela, we're following her. She's traumatized because of the death of her family, and then but it turns out that her cousin's not killing everybody to protect her. It's her killing everybody to protect her, and we find out by this quote unquote
said.
reveal because
But
of she's holding her boyfriend's like head, which I don't know how she managed to do this predator like skull rip off, like where she's holding the kid's head with like pieces of the spine coming off the end, and then she like gets up and does the like like, which is like the main point of this movie, which like goes back like this scream right
yeah,
there.
but it's not even like the shocking part isn't that she killed her boyfriend. The shocking part is that
Yeah.
is that she go to the
Well,
left.
and yeah, and that's what a lot of people like allude to, like, uh, obviously that's shocking in that time of like, oh, it's her, and then you see she has a male's genitalia, you know what I mean? Um
Twist.
and then what was it before that, I think I can't remember if they show before or after, but she basically starts having flashbacks to what brought her to this. So then uh
He was actually
the aunt that took her in is like, which that's a whole thing in herself, the aunt, and that actress is acting jeez. But they basically took her in, and they were like, or she was like saying like, oh yes, we will love having you around, it'll be great to have you around. Rusty, what is the kid's name? Is Rusty, right? Have I been saying that wrong the whole time? Like
Ricky.
Ricky, yeah, Ricky, he's great. He'll take good care of you and stuff like that. Like, don't worry. Like, we love you, and um, we just can't have another boy. That just won't do. That just won't do. You'll be my girl. Like basically saying like, oh, like you're a boy. Unfortunately, the boy survived. Like, I would have rather had the girl. Like, I'm gonna turn you into a
Collect.
girl. Like, yeah,
She's trying
which
to
is
have like the set. She had a
yeah,
kid, a boy, and a daughter that she always wanted. So the kid that survived the boating accident with Jeff at the beginning,
yeah,
or John at the beginning, like she was the aunt, but
mm,
she was crazy, and she forced. Well, not forced, I guess, is a bit of a phrase, but I'll say she forced
yeah.
the
Well,
kid, the
no, it
kid to
would
be
be
a
forced because it is forced. It's the same with like where like you hear stories of like transgenders that boy to female, like I'm a boy, but I identify as a girl, but then their parents are going to force them to be a boy, or vice versa, or back and forth, like, so that's kind of what she's doing. She's forcing what she wants as opposed to what the kid
gender.
wants or identifies as. So it is forced. But that's the thing is like, so what makes no sense is like they're creating a catalyst for a villain, but that doesn't make sense in the context of like the trauma she was dealing with didn't cause her to kill. And if it did, then what does the transgender thing have to do with any of it? And then if it
It
does,
really
then why
had
isn't the other kid also messed up? Ricky, why isn't Ricky weird?
it's so out of left field. Like I got that's what I was alluding to at the beginning of this movie or this review. I was like, if you saw this coming, like 100%, I give you $100 right now because I did not see this coming
The
from a
transgender part?
million
No,
ways.
so
Yeah, no
at
way. I
first
was like, what the fuck?
at first I didn't ever think it was Ricky, because I was like, that would make no sense that he's killing people to protect her. That's super
It's too
dumb,
many.
unless like they're gonna
And I
like
didn't
flashback to where they're hooking up in a weird way. But they grew up together, dude. Like, how did Ricky not know any of this? I mean, if he did, he probably didn't even care anyway.
Rick it. We didn't care.
But what I thought it was, I first thought it was like probably her brother or her father, and the reason was is because the hands, every time they showed the hands, it was a male hand, like you could see hair and stuff like that, and
That's
the
true.
fingers,
It's very
it was
true.
male hands. And then when you first saw Ricky as him was and they a lot of people were complaining this is a problem with the upscale resolution with the movie. I think it's 4K now, but which is not really 4K, but because of the upscale, they didn't fix the lighting. So whenever Judy, the camp like uh,
Oh, the counselor that was helping her.
not really the counselor, she was Ricky's ex girlfriend, Judy, that one.
Oh, oh.
Uh,
Damn, he punched above his weight class. I don't remember that.
yeah, Karen Fields like playing Judy, like she's like Ricky's ex girlfriend, like slash like the Regina George or Gretchen Wieners, right?
Oh, that's
Regina
right.
George,
Yeah.
one of the mean girls. She was the mean girl, like the main bully, and she's like, "Oh, why are you here?" Like looking at, and then we're getting the shot of like the same thing of like she's looking at the killer. We don't know who the killer is. We're seeing from his perspective or her perspective, and then she's like, "Oh, what are you doing here? What do you want?" Like, and then it cuts to the doorway, and then what you're supposed to see is just like the silhouette of a female. Did you see who it was?
No, I didn't see that.
It was Ricky with a wig on.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, but you can only
Really?
tell if you're looking at it like a good copy, and you can actually see the face and stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't.
So that immediately I was like, it's Ricky. Okay, whatever. Like I was like, all right, that's kind of lame. And there's a reason they did
Spoiler alert.
this. Yeah, there's a reason they did this, right? Not because it was supposed to be a twist. Like the director had a reason. Is because the actress wasn't available anymore, and they still had the actor like who played Ricky. So they put a wig on him, and there's twice he had to put a wig on. The first time was um, whenever one of the other bully kids overturns the canoe trying to joke with the girl, and then he goes underneath it, and then a girl's
Oh,
head pops up from underneath. That's the actor that plays Ricky with the wig on. And then
I'll be honest
all the
with you.
hands were to like throw you off too, to make you think it was a boy's hands. Those were all the actor that
I
plays
get the
Ricky as
voice.
well.
I didn't know about the wig. I thought that was okay. That makes sense now. So
So
I was like, I remember watching
y-
the canoe scene. I was like, that doesn't look like anybody
yeah, so
that I've seen.
that's why they the fan theory is like is it wasn't so much a mistake, is it wasn't
Rick actually
a
there the
plan,
whole
like
time.
maybe like yeah, Ricky was also in on it too. Like that's kind of the idea of it. Here it is. Might not be able to tell if it's if this one's color corrected properly. Yeah, see, this one was uploaded February 6, 2021. Let's see. And then apparently there's a lot of scenes were like edited down, so a lot of people didn't like that. It's
Oh,
a
they
weird
like
shot.
they took it.
It
I
was
mean, the whole
you.
movie is
What do
very
you
weirdly
want?
shot.
Boom.
Yeah, that to his hand.
Took a
Right in the kiss her.
cut
Like,
too
just
quick.
what the fuck? Curling her hair in the dark, as you do.
Yeah, as you do casually before you go to bed, curl your hair in the
You go
dark.
to bed, you want to look good before you go to sleep. So
Yeah. Okay, here we go. There. So you can see him right here.
that's right. Yeah, that's okay. I remember now.
That's Ricky. It's just with a wig on. But the point is, like, this is a mistake. Like, this is the upscale
Not how it's
resolution,
supposed
brighten
to
the
be.
colors. Yeah, it's supposed to be black. You're only supposed to like you cover his face, and you're supposed to see that. Like, oh, there's a boy. You just don't know who the boy is.
Makes sense because I'll be honest, I was very confused.
Yeah,
This, well, there's a lot going on.
yeah.
I think the very first death, just to roll it back a little bit. I think we jumped over a
Roll it
big
on
shark.
back.
Was that's what it's supposed to look like, right? Like that, oh, like in the trailer.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah. How you can't really
fucking
tell
that guy. What the fuck was that about? Like, do you remember that
the
scene?
pedophile.
While like,
He
why
was
was
born
this
in it.
guy hired to be in camp?
Oh no, he's the main chef. He's the head chef.
He's a
Oh,
he's a
and then
cook, but
you know the other cook, the one that took over for him, the black cook. That's actually James Earl Jones' dad.
Really? James Earl Jones' dad?
Yeah, that's James Earl Jones' dad. Like, what up?
That's really
So
cool.
yeah, Robert Earl Jones. That's his dad. That's Darth Vader's dad was in the
That's
movie.
that's pretty cool.
Looks like I did a little homework.
It's like you did a little home.
this
Y'all are
this
lucky.
this
Fair.
lady, dude, like this, I didn't understand her character at all. I was just like, why is she doing this? Like, and then if
That
she's
was the point. They just sort of wrote it in like she's just doing it.
yeah, but she's like, I I forgot something. What was it? Hmm, won't do. Tell me if I'm doing it wrong. That won't do.
You're doing
That won't do at
it.
all.
You're doing it so
Right.
good. I don't know which one's
Oh,
which. Like
there it is. I put a string on my hand so I wouldn't forget. What was it again? Oh, that just won't do. Like it's like, what are she doing? Like it'd be fine if
good.
like if she's in a theater performance and I get if that's where she's coming
No.
from, but
Mhm.
that's not what she's doing. And then it'd be fine if she's like playing like this like crazy that's basically passing this crazy on to the kids. But then why isn't Ricky like that? Like why Ricky is not even an inch like that, and that's her actual kid. Like
You did that so well, man. Like for those who haven't seen it, you gotta see this because that is
I took
spot
mental
on. That
notes.
acting.
Um,
That's what
I forgot. What was it?
I know you
That
rewinded
won't
that
do.
scene. Huge.
That just won't do. Oh, there it is. I killed it in the head. Oh, there
Go
it is.
ahead, because that's the scene.
What is this
Just
hat? What is she wearing?
the whole movie's out there, man.
Oh man.
The whole movie's out there. It's a classic. The cult
Mm,
classic for a reason.
yeah.
It's it's. I mean, they got a box set, and you know, when movies have a box set,
Yeah. See, and
not a
and,
lot.
and it probably would have worked like having that kookiness if like they showed the mom like acting like normal with like the son like, "Oh, yes, dear, like take care, bye." And then as soon as like the son leaves like then she like becomes her real self. Like she puts on a mask for her kid, but then she puts on her real face or she takes off that mask for like her adopted daughter, the cousin. If she acts like that for the adopted daughter because this is who she actually is, like, and she's crazy, she's weird, she's always wanted a daughter or whatever, she wanted to make her a princess and then made her crazy as she is, like that would have been an interesting way of doing it because then it doesn't make sense that the the actual son isn't even like 1%
Aware of
weird.
what's
He's not
going on.
even 1% weird. He's the only normal thing in this entire movie.
No, he's not even aware of what's going on, which
No.
is to me is even more shocking.
Yeah. Which
You
again,
know what I mean? Like
that's
the
the
whole
whole point
movie,
of
he's
that
just
fan
like,
theory is
whoa,
maybe he is aware.
whoa. That makes more sense because, like, I mean, that's what's going on. Like the whole movie, I'm not kidding you. Everyone's getting murdered, and his cousin slash adopted sister is doing the murdering,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like, oh, what am I gonna do for baseball later this? You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just like he's not having a clue of all these people getting killed in summer camp, and he's just big chilling like the whole time. So it's just that makes more sense that he's a part of it. Like that makes like I
Yeah.
know that's not what's going. Like at the end of the day, I know that's just sloppy writing,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. It's a good fan theory.
Yeah. What's funny is like you notice the cop's like fake mustache at the end,
Oh yeah.
like how
How
the
could you
cop had
not?
like a super black mustache.
How could you not? I'll pull it
Yeah,
up. I'll pull
apparently
it up.
like that was like reshoots and then they had to bring him back. The paramedics were like real, like a lot of the background cast and stuff like that were real because the community was just so happy that they're filming a movie, so they provided them with like tons of free like vehicles and police uniforms and stuff.
Oh yeah, the owner of the camp. We got to talk about the owner of the camp. That dude,
Oh, the shady guy. What? Where is he?
that dude is like the shadiest.
Mel. There he is.
Hell, the man was.
Yeah.
I mean, just to
And
the
then how
actor
one of the
because
other
he.
camp counselors wanted to hook up with him. I was like, what? I mean, I guess people are into. Here we go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
because
Mel.
he's
And
always
then
smoking the cigar.
yeah,
He was
Meg.
always
The
sorry. He
name is
wasn't smoking.
Meg. MEG. Okay. Shut up, Meg.
He was, and the whole time this dude was like, he was chewing on a cigar for
Mm-hmm.
the whole movie, like just like chewing tobacco,
Trying to hide the
and
murders.
he was trying to hide the murder. Like he was so worried about like not the people getting killed, but
Cue
how
the
this
Tiger
affects his
King.
bottom
This is gonna financially ruin me.
line. He was the most realistic character. Like before 2020, I would have
Mm-hmm.
I said this movie's unreal, but nah, this dude was 100% real.
I believed it.
He was only worried about the bottom line, and he's my favorite character.
Yeah,
No.
You connected with it.
I connected with him. I was like, damn, this is gonna affect me directly.
This is gonna emotionally ruin me. That's a no. Yeah, because like every time a murder happened, it was like, let's not scare the kids, and can you imagine how traumatized like something like this like shuts down an entire camp because like, creates trauma, but also you don't want to deal with like the fallout of like it happening to another kid, like
But doesn't it? Doesn't I don't know. There's a lot going on in the movie. I think remember he was concerned not about the kids finding out, but the kids telling their parents that it was going on in the
yeah,
first place
and it ruining
because they went.
because the first murder was the cook. The first person that got murdered was this guy when
I
the
would say
boiling
he was
water.
a pedophile that happened to cook
Yeah,
because you gotta go. I mean, I don't know if he and that's that little
if only he could have
trailer.
like went sideways instead of waiting to get pulled into it and grab the whole thing with him. You know what I mean? He could have just been like, ah, like gone off to the side, right?
He was like pushed like the whole. I mean, the bodybuilder, the pedophile. Like, there's a lot going on.
That zoom
They
in.
left. They left her alone with this pedophile for like a while.
Yeah.
Not saying like anything happened. Like he's just being creepy,
Hmm.
but he was being a little too creepy.
Yeah. I'm
Like
glad that scene
that's
didn't
why I
go on
think
longer than it needed to.
it was very uncomfortable. I'll put
Hmm.
it that way. There was a lot of like, okay, where's this going?
Yeah,
I
see,
want
this
it
is
to end.
exactly how that shot's supposed to look, like where you don't really see anybody's face.
Mm,
See, and then that, like the head popping up,
that
that's also him. Oh, that's pretty
that
interesting. The
looks,
two shots where he actually is wearing a wig are back to back in the original trailer.
huh?
Spoiler alert. It's you. Like troll two. Yeah, see, like that's a long
That's
ass thing.
crazy.
I've never thought like, oh, that like
Oh
would
yeah,
you
this dude's
you they
cooking
would you
gumbo.
have you ever seen something like that? I would like for somebody to put in the comments, does like a cauldron exist like this? Like
This dude,
a
yeah.
missile silo? Like it was tall. It was like, I mean, clearly it was
It
like
was a former telescope. Like it's a long.
former Hubble Jr. Yeah, but like, don't you think like, because all the heat would be down here? I mean, it'd still go up, but like, it would
Oh
get
yeah,
cooler, right?
no, there's not a lot of logic in
What
this
like
movie. I don't
what?
know what
How would you reach in there to like stir it too?
you would.
Like
You'd
all the
have to
corn would
put your
settle.
whole hand in boiling water to get down to the bottom to
Well,
actually
how
get the
their
ingredients.
idea is like to have this massive pot to cook a lot of corn, and then what? Then
Oh,
get in and then stir it at the very bottom.
that's true because the whole thing was full of corn. That's all they fed these kids. There's some corn-fed kids,
Yeah, some corn fed
and
kids.
this, and this guy gets killed by the corn at the end of the day.
Let me
So,
explain what this looks like for people who don't understand. Give me a second. Let me do this right here. You're
oh,
gonna
that's
love
right
this.
because there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna do it. I don't think it's gonna show my window. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, because like so that like I mean I think I'm getting too in the weeds on something so trivial as like that, but it's stuff like that that like piss me off. Where it's just like, I mean, they're not trying to be funny. It's just it's funny, you
This
know.
was very.
But and then that's like the difference between that and like a movie like what's it called the Room, where it's like it
Oh
isn't trying to be funny, but the individual making that movie is funny, and then like the director and everybody working on this movie wasn't trying to be funny, but it is funny.
oh, never mind. No, I'll take it back. Sorry for everybody that dude is a pedophile 100% of the way. I forgot.
Yeah, in the
I
movie.
guess I try to blank this out. Like that dude was 100% a pedophile. He was not a cook. He was a pedophile, and he deserved all the corn that killed him because
Yeah,
damn.
because like no, well he was the head chef, but he was also a pedophile.
Now he was a pedophile. You put her in the room. I saw. Sorry, I rewatched the scene just to like get a sense of it. I guess. Yeah, this dude's crazy. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking putting this guy in the movie.
You see this what I'm doing?
Oh yeah.
So this is what that thing looked like. You like this is I have to explain it so it makes sense. So the guy was standing on a
This
chair reaching over, and then you telling me you got corn. Let me make some little corns over here. Boop. You got a
All the way
bunch of
down there.
corn stirring up for like a camp of like what, like 27 or 30 kids, I think it was.
There's maybe 30 kids,
Yeah.
and maybe 20 of them are really
And this
hungry.
is how you gonna cook corn. So like, but like, so if this thing is that long, you gonna have like a ladle like about that big,
It's a 5 foot ladle.
the big old ladle. Wouldn't it not make more sense to like cook it and then put it in the oven? Like places like this think about it a lot more. Yeah, it looks something like that. I'm proud of my work. You like that?
I'm surprised actually. It's very.
That's a
This
beautiful
is
way.
to scale.
But yeah, see, it is to scale. I made sure 100% accurate. Oh, and then he like holds on like over it, so he's like
Yeah,
hanging
he holds.
over,
Oh my god!
pulls like,
Pulls the chair underneath him.
yeah, and then he gets cooked hotter than a menudo. There he is.
He gets
There comes
boiled.
Darth Vader's dad
Oh,
walking in.
but I'll say this too. Like that dude took like they pulled the chair and it took like 25 minutes to pull the chair
Yeah,
because they pushed him. He said, "You're gonna kill me. Help me
what are you
down."
trying to do? Kill me?
He
What are you gonna do? Stab me? Says a man. Stab.
says, "What are you gonna do? Kill me?" He's like, "Pull me down and I'll get you an ice cream sundae." That's how long he's been getting
Just
murdered.
let me down, and I'll make you a nice ice cream sundae.
And he's hanging over the pot of gumbo, like, or sorry, the corn.
Now I want some gumbo. Just let me
At
down.
that point, he's already leaning
I'll
on the
make it nice.
pot. Like,
I'll make you a nice sundae. Like it's like, all
oh
right.
my god,
Your mom and
the
dad
whole thing.
have been at sleepaway camp for almost 3 weeks, and getting very scared. That's how you introduce a movie. Look at that. Like
That right there.
they literally wasted 20 seconds on a cursive shot. You
Oh
can tell
man.
when they didn't have enough shots when there's tons of fillers. Like they're playing a ball game and they were playing that ball game for a while. It's like
Oh, the
this isn't
kickball
really
game
helping. This isn't really helping
or the
push the
ball
story
game?
along.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Like
Then,
there's a lot of
I,
like film 101 like mistakes like in this movie which are pretty interesting. And there's reasons obviously. It's not like they're specifically trying to fail. It's they're not thinking about it. They don't have enough runtime.
no, man.
But it's like
I'll
every
I'll
scene
give
has
you
to have a reason in a movie. Otherwise, why show it?
3 minutes is
Hmm.
how long that ball game went on
Yeah. Like the only time like
in an
movies,
hour-long movie.
yeah. Well, like so like the only time movies are allowed to like get away with wasting people's time is when like you want that information. So um the thought or like what you're like taught in like a film school, right? Is the fact that like if you're like the ball scene, right? It's perfectly fine if you're gonna have like a ball scene if it's a movie about baseball or like somehow that's gonna get connected because the somebody did something illegal in the game or hit him in a weird way or like hit him with a bat or something happened in that ball game that's gonna come up later, or we're watching like a MLB pro play baseball and the movie isn't about baseball but it's awesome to see him play the scene. It's the same as like if you have Spider-Man swinging in a movie or just wearing the costume in general, like people want to absorb that. They want to see Spider-Man in his costume even if he's just sitting down eating a churro with like half his mask off. It doesn't help the story at all. It's not going to come up later, but the thing is it allows the audience to enjoy those moments, whether it's like Megatron sitting on the edge of a dam. But when you have like scenes like that make no sense, it's clearly because they didn't have enough runtime and they had a bunch of like shots and they're like, all right, let's just show that the camp is normal. It's day to day. Like people have gotten over this or people have forgotten, and then we have the ball game. Well, we're short. The movie's short 20 minutes. All right, then add like 5 minutes of the ball game, and then another 5 minutes of the volleyball game, and then like we're gonna extend every scene by a couple seconds. Like stuff like that is thought in the editing bay to where like when you're actually watching it, you're like, oh my god, this movie did not have to be this long. It's like
No,
Jungle
man.
Cruise. I was thinking about that during Jungle Cruise.
Speaking
Speaking of which,
of Jungle Cruise, no, this movie is. I'll be honest. This movie is like a 30-minute movie
hmm,
tops.
yeah,
But
yeah,
make no
45 minutes. I'd
mistake.
say like you could trim the fat down to 45 minutes and make a good short film. and then take out a lot of
But
the bad acting.
but you're missing out on a lot of goodies. 'Cause
Mm.
this movie is a movie that y'all gotta
It's
see at
the New
least one
York Times calls it a movie.
movie. It's a movie. No,
Mm.
like you really should see it. It's out there, but
Mm.
it's a good movie in the sense of like, oh, did you see Sleepaway Camp? Oh, you did. Good.
Yeah,
I'm
for a
glad you
podcast.
did. And plus, it feeds into Sleepaway Camp 2, which I heard was nominated for almost an Oscar.
Almost for best makeup, like Suicide Squad.
This is back in the 80s when it was a little different.
See, and what's interesting is like a lot of movies like will end up like with cult classics because like there wasn't enough of a story around it, or people like connected to certain parts of it, or they like the lore behind it, like whether it's like Star Wars or like when it comes to horror films, like a lot of movies like that, like their cult classics come from like Jason, like what makes him tick, like well I think this, like you can have a lot of discussions about it. But like for movies like this where there's not really too far you can go past like the boundaries of what they built, where it's just like but why, like where
Oh,
I
yeah.
just talked about the mom, like and the whole situation with like the daughter, the adopted daughter going crazy to murderous, like to violently murderous, to like to the son being completely normal, like
Yeah.
that's where it's just
It,
like I don't see the cult class, the where the cult following comes from. Like zombie movies, yeah, sure. Like if you're talking about like Night of the Living Dead or the original Dawn of the Dead, it like you
yeah,
start to like
that's like
put
a
yourself in that scenario.
Smithsonian
What would I
classic.
do? You know? Yeah. But like for this, what
I'm
would I
saying
do?
this,
I just leave the camp.
that's what I'm saying. I think it's like let me play it to you.
Hmm.
You gotta be in a certain mindset, right? You gotta get that greenery. You gotta get them snacks, the popcorn.
The poppies.
It's late, the poppies. It's late at night.
Yeah.
You with your friends. You just ready to do some roasting.
Mm-hmm.
Put this movie on, and I guarantee y'all have a good time because
I think
it's
where the end off for me that like ruined it was let me see, go back to this, was the ending itself, because there was nothing, there wasn't an end. It's like it like even like this the end was like that shot, and then it puts a green filter to it, and then it cuts to credits with like the credits rolling in front of this, and it's like okay, like is there gonna be an after credits where she joins the Avengers? Like what's happening? Like why
you
would you
gotta
just end it? It'd be one thing if like
camp.
she did this and they're like what the hell, and then she just ran off into the forest, like something, like why are you gonna end it right there? Like she like it, like if she would have just
Climb.
ran off into the forest or just like did that and they're just like oh shit, and they like trip and fall and she just vanished, like that would have been like for me that would have like locked into like oh, okay, I can see the cult following is like what the hell was that? Was it a demon? Was it a ghost? Like you can start to fill out
I
because
think
like so like
I think you answered that question because that's exactly what I said. The end of this movie was what the hell was that?
you're just like oh, am I supposed
And
to
I
leave now?
and I said, "Oh, I gotta see the second one," and I am dying to see the second one because I don't know where they're gonna go with all these movies. There's like 20 of them. I
Yeah.
don't, there's no. I don't know what world you can tell me that this is a continuing story.
Hmm.
Or they couldn't get enough in this hour, so they had to make 5 more of these bitches.
So they made more. They done made more.
They done made more, so we couldn't fit everything into one story, so we just had to make more movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is exactly why this is a cult classic.
Yeah. Well, look, here's a Steam Deck. That'd be a good thing to talk about. Let's see if I can pull this up. I want to see how many people have actually watched it on YouTube itself. This
That's
from the
on
second
his.
one. Kill count. Return to Sleepaway Camp.
That's the 2008 one.
Yeah.
There's a third one,
3. Sleepaway
fourth
Camp.
one,
Teenage Wasteland.
fifth
And it's
one.
so funny seeing the age difference in like all these different people too.
Oh yeah,
Like how like the teenagers are like played by 30 something year olds.
there's a pedophile.
Mm. The bees, the
Bees.
bees. Yeah, where was it? I literally just had it right.
What's that? I don't know if they took it down just a minute.
Right, they just noticed.
I just noticed. I said, "Damn, we're getting a lot of sleepaway camp traffic. We got to look into this."
Oh, here it is. No, this is the people just off the shelf reviewing. Who would do that? But yeah, I was trying to see if like there's like a good amount of like people that watched it, because it'd probably be like the people that have already seen it are just rewatching again on YouTube. You know what I mean?
There's hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm. That's
Just
crazy for
like,
such an old film. Like I can't believe I've never heard of this film.
oh man, just the mustache on the cop alone at the very end of the movie.
Oh yeah,
He's
because he was already working
like
on another film, and they asked him to do a reshoot.
I'm not kidding you
they
guys. Like
they should have Henry
I'm not
Cavill
gonna
and edit it.
like imagine if you got an actor, right? He's in a cop uniform and you
Oh,
said,
I
you know
have
what?
another behind the
Let me
scenes
just
stuff.
let me just paint this mustache on.
Yeah, here we go. This
That
guy.
would have been better than what they did to him. Y'all got to see this movie.
Yeah, see that's his real mustache, and then later on he like shaved it for another movie, so they had to
I got
like
the
stick it on.
timestamp if you want to just take a look. Quick
If I
screen
could ever
grab. It's
find it, remember I couldn't find it.
1 hour, 18 minutes, and 17 seconds.
What's crazy is the actor that played Mel never got to see the movie because apparently during the filming of the movie he was dying of lung cancer,
Oh,
which is crazy
no.
because he's smoking cigars the entire movie too.
Mel?
Yeah, the actor that plays Mel, he died in 1983, a couple months before the movie came out, so he never got to see it. It was the last movie he did. See,
See,
Sleepaway Camp,
that's
1983.
sad.
Mm-hmm.
They should have put that for Mel, because,
For Mel too.
damn. For Mel.
Yeah.
Because he was my favorite character in this whole movie.
Greasy Mel. Used car salesman.
Greasy salesman. Used car salesman opened up a summer
Mm.
camp for kids.
Midnight
That's
Express. That
cool.
was his other movie. Yeah. Classic. So, anything else? What are the thoughts, Ivan?
Reviews, ratings. I want to get your rating first, because I feel like you got a lot to rate on this.
By itself, out of 10, I'd probably give it exactly what it is. 5 or 6. I think it's like a 6 on IMDb. I mean, it's not the worst film I've ever seen in my life.
I'll take it back. I'll take it back. As a movie, a 5 or 6. As a horror movie, how would you rate it?
As a horror movie, 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like my 10s up there would have to be like more like psychological, because like I mean I don't like to compare apples and oranges. Well, they're not apples and oranges, apples and apples, like, but it's like, how do you like your apple, green or red? Like they're both apples. But like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre or this, they're both indie films. So which one do you think is better? You.
If I had to choose,
Yeah.
I guess it boils down to which one has Mel, which one does not have Mel.
Well, see, so now that comes down to like movies. Like if you're talking about horror, like something that like.
No, I'm playing. No, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a fucking classic.
Yeah.
And no,
If I'm gonna put on something scary, I'm gonna put on that. If I'm gonna put something that is fun, like I'll put on this. Like yeah, I mean like Sleepaway Camp, because it's as a movie, it's more fun. But as
we have a lot to talk
film,
about this movie.
yeah, but as a horror film, it's not as scary as something like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which if you look at both, they're pretty much like that same like here, let me pull it up, because this one came out in 1974, way older.
Yeah.
And what was its budget?
Like $20. It's out there.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's a classic.
Even less. It cost less than half of what this movie cost. $140,000 to make the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this film cost over $350,000 to make.
I'll just put it this way though: how many sailboats did they have to crash in Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
What are you kids doing?
That alone tells you everything you need to say.
Estimated budget.
How many people got killed by corn in Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Not enough.
That's it.
Yeah, see, even the ratings themselves, like 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then this is a 6.3. So I mean, this is
close.
it's almost this is almost rounded up and it's an 8. 8 out of 10. But like Texas Chainsaw Massacre doesn't have like anything like fun. Like the only scenes that are like really like wasting time are like kind of like to build this like slow like draw eeriness
Oh, we
of
gotta talk about
the
Texas
big state
Chainsaw.
of
I have a
Texas.
lot to say
Of what?
about Texas,
Oh
about
yeah,
this
yeah.
movie
That has its
specifically.
own discussion for sure.
Let's do that as a separate discussion because I
Yeah.
got a lot. There's a lot
Oh
to
yeah,
talk
we
about.
will. But I mean more in the fact of like I can see what they're doing when they waste time. Like as far as like the slow drawn out scenes like in Texas Chainsaw where they're driving that car and they're just like staring at each other just quietly. Like it kind of builds up that like there's this long like kind of like waiting for something. It's the same as like in movies you see like a character walk from like one store to the other store, but if you were to walk that in real life, you're walking like 2 to 3 hours, and doing that 2 to 3 hours of walk in real life, it's you're hearing your own breath, you're hearing the traffic. It's boring. It's there's nothing going to happen. But when you're watching a horror movie and you're watching this, that anticipation builds up. It eats at you a lot more when you're just like, okay, what's gonna happen? But then when you have a scene like in this movie where they're just playing baseball just to waste time, like it's like okay,
This,
like is something gonna happen? Is somebody gonna get killed? Is there gonna be a killer in the background? Should I look for it like it's Michael Myers? But no, that's how I feel. Like my rating has to do with like the fact that like as a movie in itself, it's a 6. It's not the worst film in the world, but it's not the best either. As far as a horror film, it's a 7, mainly because it has elements that are kind of like super messed up, like the unjustified kills that a lot of people don't agree with, and even the director doesn't like that he put in it. Like he had a lot of things he wishes he could have changed, like the mustache being one of them, but the other one being the fact that like she killed all the younger kids in the sleeping bag, and the reason she killed them was because they were kicking sand at her like all jokingly. But they're like
oh, that's right.
yeah, they're like what, toddlers, like between toddlers and like 7 or 8 or
They're
whatever.
they're, they're pretty
And then
young.
she goes stabs them all in their sleeping bag. Those were the ones that weren't justified.
Nah, yeah, this whole movie's. I mean, if I had to give it a rating as a movie,
Mm.
it's a movie.
It's a
That's
movie.
about it.
You put it
It's a
up there
movie.
with
Like there's a beginning, there might
Inception.
be an end. As a whole, I have yet to put a rating. So I feel
Mm.
like we have to judge it as a whole picture from 1 to 5
Yeah,
because we don't know what happens at the end. Maybe it was like a long-standing picture.
yeah,
As a horror movie, it wasn't spooky. It was horrible. That was the true horror. But it was a very good comedy, and I would recommend it to anybody that wants to just I don't know, just hang out, watch a movie. Like it's such a movie,
yeah,
in that sense,
yeah,
and that's why I enjoyed it
yeah.
to some degree.
If anything, just to watch the mom's acting, watch some of this
Oh
acting, where it's
God,
just like
just to
that's
watch
really the
that
best take you guys got.
acting exactly.
Yeah,
If it was worth it,
yeah,
and I can't wait to watch Sleepaway Camp too
yeah.
because if it can only get better from here.
Which is funny because like whenever they do scenes like that, like I mean, what's written on page is like you're gonna like say it like word for word. The only thing you can change is yeah how you speak those words and your gestures and movements, and but what you work out with the director, the actual like person who's visioning the story is like how are you saying it, like what is your intent behind what you're saying, other than just like I forgot something, what was it, there's something, oh yeah, I put a string on my finger, it was to make sure to give you guys your physical forms. Like they're probably not gonna like it, but at least I got it done. No, but she's saying this, the mom's saying this, but she's crazy. There, why is she giving filling out these forms that she's not supposed to fill out as a doctor? Somebody else is supposed to fill it out. Okay, so like make it seem like you're hiding something, like you're elsewhere, you're in a different mind. There was something I was like, I mean, there like one actor can have a different interpretation of what that means, what the director directions gave him, and then a different actor has a different one where it's just like I forgot something. No, I remember. Yeah, I did your forms. Don't worry about it. Like like they might have
Oh
different
yeah,
points of like how to change it, but like in this movie, like it's the same like with like Star Wars, where like you can tell they're all given the same directions. Like it's either like creepy or not creepy, or be an asshole, be an asshole, be an asshole. Like, and for George Lucas, it's like say it more intense, say it more intense, or say it faster, say it slower. That's the only directions apparently he would give to his actors. So I feel like this director was kind of doing that same in the fact that he was like his specific directions were like uh something else in his mind compared to like what it probably should have been, where it conveys that message a little better.
So
Yeah, the whole sender and receiver of a
basically,
message, right? Like the actual sender of the message, like had an idea of how they wanted to give it to sender, but they weren't like they were throwing it so far over the sender's head that like it's like I didn't get that, I didn't see that, I didn't feel that way.
basically, it's just as good as Star Wars, is all I heard.
Yeah. The Phantom Menace.
The Phantom,
Let's be real. Yeah.
just another classic.
I mean, looking at the budget between the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and this, it's almost it might as well be Star Wars.
I
Yeah.
don't know, man. Long story. You gotta see this movie. I want to know people's thoughts because I think there's a lot to unpack in this
Yeah.
movie that we can talk about it all day. We still won't get to the nitty gritty about.
Nope.
There's so much going on
Mm-hmm. There's a lot.
that I really want to get people's thoughts on this because it's is it a classic? Is it good?
What would have you done?
Did you see
What would
that?
you change if you could change something about the movie? What would you change to make it better? One thing.
Oh,
One thing.
I would put more
Before you
Mel.
more Mel.
Put
Yeah,
more.
I mean,
The
like
whole movie should have been from Mel's perspective.
that would have been interesting. Like instead, it doesn't really follow anybody. It follows
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
Angela.
saying. I
No,
felt like I'm
first of
just
all,
there.
first of all, is the was the what's his name again? Ricky.
Ricky.
Yeah, it follows Ricky first, and then it starts to follow Angela, and then it follows Ricky again, and then it starts to follow what Mel for a bit, and then it goes back
Yeah.
to Angela, then Ricky, then Judy. Like like if you're gonna like have a story with like multiple different characters like telling the story, then you have to give them each equal parts. Like, but because if you follow like one like 50% of the movie, and then this one like 20% of the movie, and then this one 10, and then 5, and then 2, and then like it's hard to really grasp like okay like what's going on. It's like Game of Thrones, like how every episode that would come out it'd be like 5 minutes here's your 5 minutes of Khaleesi update, here's your 5 minutes of Sansa update, here's your 5 minutes of
Oh,
John
yeah.
the Starks update, like here's your 5 minute
Towards
update
the
of the
end,
Lannister
yes.
update, here's your 5 minute like, and then oh the episode's over, and then the next season the next episode will come out. It's like okay wait, what was Khaleesi doing? I don't remember, but here's your 5 minute update of Khaleesi. Here's your 5 minute update. Like that's what it felt like watching this, but in a more condensed version. Hell, we should review Game of
Oh yeah.
Thrones too. I
Oh
got a
God,
lot
don't get
to
me
say.
started.
We're gonna
Don't
need an
get me
8 part
started
episode.
on Game of
8 part
Thrones.
episode.
I'm gonna need a hard drink and a time machine to save me
And a
some
therapist
years
on
of my
call.
life. But no, that's what I would have changed. I would have liked to see, like, I know it's funny, but I would have liked to see Mel's point of view, or it's like somebody's point of
This
view
is
of this
gonna be
whole
our next
movie.
movie,
Just like,
Slumber Party Massacre.
oh no, I heard that one's good too.
Oh, man.
Actually, that's a good point. If there's any other movie that you would like us to talk about, please drop it down. It doesn't matter how great it is.
Yeah, especially with
Definitely
Halloween
not.
coming up, we'll start reviewing.
Oh
We're gonna
man,
review
spooky season.
more horror movies during the October
The
season,
spooky season.
the spooky season.
And we're gonna go to our new review system. Well, 2 boos out of 5. So
Oh, two boobs. LFF. Boo
two.
boo boo. Little ghost icons.
Is it too spooky for me or 2 boos out of
Or
5?
too spooky for you.
But
Oh man.
it's a movie. Check
It's a
it out.
Yep.
It's free on Prime if you
Eh,
have it and you pay for it. So it's not free,
or YouTube,
but it's on
apparently, if you
YouTube
can find it.
if you can find it.
Yeah.
Check it out. Let us know what you think. I really want to know if you saw this coming, and if you did, give me a reason why.
Because I
And
listened
if
to this
not,
podcast. And then I watched the movie. And then I saw it coming. There's your answer.
look, I promise you, if you saw this, You could do this entire podcast, and I guarantee you still wouldn't expect this to happen. It's just a crazy ass, like out of left field ending that doesn't make sense to me, but I guess it makes sense to the director. I don't know. Check it out.
To the director. Oh man. Yep, that's it for today's episode of Two Tickets to Hell. Make sure to
Oh
subscribe if
yes,
you enjoy these reviews and discussions on everything entertainment, tech, and anything we feel like talking about. Leave a thumbs up down below if you liked it or if you don't like it. We like your positivity, preferably. Thank you again, and if you have any thoughts or anything else you want to say, please leave it in the comments below. Thank you, and good night and goodbye from hell.
goodbye, everybody.